Hello everyone, welcome to our video on what are classes of trade and why it's important to understand their differences. So let's start with the easy half of that question, which is what are classes of trade? So classes of trade, I'm sure you've been asked already now that you've launched your brand or you're selling your brand of, so what class of trade are you going to go after, or what channel are you going to focus on out of the gates? These two words are interchangeable and really they refer to the type of store that you're going to go after, or the type of store that you're going to focus on. The industry really groups all locations where you can buy a consumer packaged goods product into one of 9 major channels. So let me walk you through these 9 as an overview, and then we'll get into the harder part of the question. So the first one is grocery. Grocery is pretty self-explanatory, but it's the Safeway, Kroger, Albertsons of the world, along with all the regionals, which is Publix, Harris Teeter. Number 2 is natural channel. Natural is driven really by Whole Foods, but you have Sprouts as well. Then you have regional players again with Mothers in SoCal, New Leaf in NorCal, Moms on the East Coast, as well as all the independent co-ops that are out there as well. So number 3 is mass. Mass is really driven by Target and Walmart. Number 4 is the club channel. Club, again, the dominant player is Costco, but Sam's is strong as well. And then you have BJ's regionally on the east. Number 5 is food service. And food service gets a little bit bigger as you dig deeper, but really driven by Sodexo, Airmark, and Compass. Under there you also have a subgroup which is also large, which is the Starbucks, Noah's, Einstein's of the world. Sometimes referred to as QSR, or quick serve restaurants. And then there's also some FSR, full serve restaurants, that might have some opportunities for some of your products. So number 6 is drug. Drug refers to obviously the 7-Elevens and Walgreens of the world. There are also regional players in this channel, like a Dwayne Reed out of New York. Number 7 is convenience. Convenience, 7-Eleven, ExxonMobil, Quick Trip. Number 8 are the independents, or up and down the street accounts, which would kind of be the one-off coffee shops, bagel shops, little corner markets. And then the 9th is a catch-all, which is referred to as the alt channel, which is kind of growing now. It's a smaller opportunity, but it's getting bigger, where you'll find the gyms, the sporting goods stores, outdoor stores, even electronics, sport, and office supplies. So there's the 9 major channels that you need to look at targeting. So now the second half of this question is why it's so important to understand the differences in the classes of trade. It starts with the fact that you can't be everything to everyone. You might think that you are, you might try to convince yourself that you are, but if you ever try to convince a buyer or an investor that you've solved the world's problem for every class of trade with your product, they're going to turn you off right away. So I think you have to be very realistic and start to focus early on what channels are you a fit for and where you're going to target quickly. This decision will influence every single aspect of your business. From everything, you think about the ingredients decisions that you're making, to the package that you're putting your product in, even to the case count that you're putting the product in, to the key accounts that you're going to target, to the distributors that you're going to call on, to the sales team that you're going to build, to the budget that you're writing, because each one has a different sales per point expectation and a different cost of getting to market. So it's really important to understand all of these. And just think about how different it is. If you have a product and you're trying to market, let's say to Whole Foods, and you think you can launch there, that guy that you're selling to that has full sleeve tats and dreads down to his back is going to look for something very different in that product, whether it's the package or the brand or what's inside, than the dude over at 7-Eleven that's in his truck pulling up and grabbing his coffee and product X, or drink Y, and they're going to look for 2 very different items. And if you try to blend your message and hope to solve for everyone, all you're going to do is confuse the mass. And at the end of the day, you should focus on the top 1 or 2 channels when you launch your brand, and really focus everything, again, from the ingredients to the marketing to the packaging to your energy on those 1 or 2 to make sure that you're setting yourself up for the best success. When you look at that list and the 9 channels, the exciting part is the fact that there are so many channels. And even in each of those channels, you look at some of them, you know, grocery in the hundreds of thousands of grocery stores and, you know, hundreds of thousands of convenience stores. There's tons of places that you can go out and choose to partner with and build your brand successfully. The key is just be realistic about not trying to do it all at once. In time, you can absolutely leap from one channel to the other, and you can graduate out of 4 channels into 5 and 6, and it happens all day. But it takes time and it takes a ton of sweat to get there. I know that this is, again, very topical, but you know what we're going to do is I'm going to break it down to a series of videos where I'm going to dive into each one of the classes of trade much more deeply and talk about the pros and cons and some of the watch-outs when you're starting to work with each of them, because that's also important to know before you get into it. So anyway, that is our summary of channels of trade and why it's important to understand the difference. I hope this is helpful for you, or at least starts the energy process and brainstorming process. Important decision. You guys will make the right one. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this video, and if you want to check out what else we've put together on our quest to simplify the consumer packaged goods world, please check us out at conceptlabpartners.com. Thank you.